Welcome to another edition of the We Talk Chelsea podcast. Three friends who kick a ball around a pitch on a Sunday afternoon, united with a love of Chelsea Football Club. And the season is fast approaching. We are literally 6 days away from kickoff at Stamford Bridge. Just 6 days. This summer has absolutely flown by, hasn't it?
Do you know something, right? The older you get, the shorter those breaks get. I'm telling you something. When I was younger, them breaks, they used to seem like a long time, and every single Daily Mail that I opened, it was another behind the goal bet that we signed. But God, it's not been very long, has it, this year, boys?
No, not at all.
It's been absolutely rapid. I think, in especially when it comes to being Chelsea fans, there's been a lot to speak about this summer. You know, getting rid of players before the June 30th deadline, then bringing in players again. There's been much to speak about, and I'm very, very excited and very, very positive about what we're going to experience. Hopefully, come Sunday when we kick off at Stamford Bridge. Well, the best things what we should probably do here is we're live on YouTube. So if you are watching us on YouTube, thank you very much for joining us. Hit that subscribe button, and we are also live on TKS TV. So if you're here and you're watching us on TKS TV, just go across to YouTube, hit subscribe. It is very, really helpful to get us. We're aiming to try and get to 100 subscribers. Have we put a time frame on this? Should we say by the end of August? Should we give 3 months? Should we say 3 weeks? We'll push for 100. Do you think we can do it? Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm saying it. By August, we're doing it. By August, we want to get to 100 subscribers. If you can help us out by hitting subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. What we need to do is much to speak about this week. We've got incomings, we've got potential incomings, we have mostly incomings, let's face it. I mean, I think this squad's been trimmed enough. You know, Lukaku, Ziyech, we know they're trying on the back burner. They're probably going to go out eventually. Probably best thing to lead with is the star signing. Last game of the preseason against Borussia Dortmund, unfortunately, he went off in the first half. It's looking like now, initial reports, we're hoping that it would probably be a couple of weeks. It's looking now he's going to be out for up to 2 months with an MCL injury. And it's, just our luck. It looks like we've got a striker or somebody that's looking lively and creative that's going to score goals for us. And he gets injured. Is this just the way it is for Chelsea, Charlie? Is this just the luck that we have that we need to ride?
It seems to be, doesn't it? It seems like the rub of the green at the moment. But he seems like one of the players that we were relying on, I would say, a little bit in this pre-season, that we seem to be actually doing something for the team. We've got Jackson and Nkunku, these players that are going to make the team a lot better, and he's one of those guys. And it's a massive disappointment, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I thought we would discuss as we later go on into the preview about how we still don't have an assembled squad. We rely on everyone to be quite fit at the moment, and he's been one of the key reasons we've been good in pre-season. And it's just unfortunate that it's happened at the very start of his career, Chelsea career, which seems to be a theme, to be honest, of the last 2-3 years of just crucial players getting injured at crucial times.
Yeah, and it was apparent last season, with players like Reece James getting injured at crucial times, Ben Chilwell as well getting injured as well. That running off and holding his hamstring is at the end of the Dortmund game, I want to say.
Chilwell,
Chilwell,
yeah.
Salzburg, sorry. It's just one of those things. We've got to ride with it. Hopefully we've got enough. We're getting strength in depth, and it's looking like we're looking to improve the squad before kickoff on Sunday. So whether they go into the matchday squad is another story. But, it's looking exciting. It's a very, very much a new look Chelsea. It looks completely different compared to last season. I'm feeling very positive. I don't know if this is just rose-coloured glasses that I've got on currently, these new frames that I've got on sporting today. But, it seems pretty exciting. How are you feeling? Okay, I'll go further September. Tell me, how are you feeling in terms of Sunday, where we are as a whole, the players that we've brought in, the players that we shipped out? We know there's still players to go, but how are you feeling overall? Are you feeling more positive as you were compared to where you were, 6 months ago?
Slightly. I would say I was feeling 20% more confident. I still think we're not quite ready yet. I don't think we're quite ready as a squad yet for the new season, especially Liverpool. I think that's too much of a tough ask for us to get a win or maybe even a draw. I still think that we need to gel as a team going forward. But with our apparent weaknesses and where Liverpool like to attack, I think, yeah, it's a tough one. But I'm not exactly looking forward to Sunday. I would say maybe against a different opposition, but I don't think we're quite ready yet.
I mean, we're going to touch upon a preview a little bit later on in the podcast in terms of Chelsea versus Liverpool. But what's getting you? Is it simply just the fact that the squad doesn't look settled as of yet that's causing this issue? Like, surely you must feel a bit, well, more than slightly more positive compared to where we were at the back end of last season. It seems like you and Charlie have completely switched roles on this in terms of your outlook for things.
It's just sort of like you're stepping in the territory of the unknown. So we're yet to see how we're actually going to play against, certain opposition. I think a lot of people are just excited because we have new players. We've been scoring a few goals, but when the test comes to the test, that's when players show up. And as we've seen already, one of our crucial players is already injured, and that probably means Sterling plays, and he has been god awful for the last 7-8 months. And I don't think it's a lack of him trying. I just think whatever he's trying is just not working out. He's just thinking a bit too much. I don't know whether that's down to us or mainly him, but he just doesn't look quite settled into this squad at the moment. And really the only big positive I would say is Nicolas Jackson and Mudryk actually look like a good combination. So hopefully looking at Sunday, going forward, even just in games coming forward, that could be a partnership we rely on or can get something out of. But in terms of just feeling positive, it's that midfield. I still think it's a huge issue, and it has been an issue for years. So if we go into a season with the same problem we've had for the last 2-3 years, how do you expect to improve on that?
Yeah.
How do you win games without a midfield? How do you dominate games without a midfield?
And midfield is an area that we're going to discuss a little bit later on, so we'll circle around to that. But Charlie, how are you kind of feeling before Sunday's kickoff with Liverpool? Are you feeling more positive than Timber?
I agree, but at the same time, I don't think Liverpool are fully in their mode yet. I don't see they've got a midfield. They've just sold half their midfield. Yeah, I don't see how they're not doing kumbaya at the moment, are they? Let's face it. Yeah. So I don't think I think it's a good time to have them. I think if we've got them at home, we look last season. Yeah, we drew 0-0 away, didn't we, to Liverpool at home, 0-0. Yeah, we've got them. I've just got this feeling that we've got them, and I just got a feeling that if we can just just penetrate that line, we're all good. What do you reckon, Tom?
I mean, I think I've echoed it. I feel that I'm feeling positive. I think even if we come away with a draw from Sunday's game, I think that's a step forward in the right direction, especially if it's a draw where we actually score goals. I think we're looking a little bit defensively a bit shaky at the moment, especially when looking at pre-season at the moment from given the results. I don't know how much you can kind of read into that situation, but a bit shaky. But I'm feeling kind of positive, and I'll circle back through to what Temba said. Talk about the midfield situation, and we'll discuss the Liverpool midfield as well. But we are lacking. We've got Enzo Fernandez, we've got Conor Gallagher considered as the midfielders that are considered first team. Andrey Santos, potentially is going to stay with us as a kind of backup. He's young. He's looked great in pre-season, so we should see we're there. But we're linked to other players that can play in the midfield role. So one that's coming through here is Tyler Adams from Chelsea. He's available from Leeds United based on his relegation release clause of £20 million. I mean, Tyler Adams. I'll be completely honest. I don't know too much about Tyler Adams. I know he's the captain of the USA team, so there's kind of a leadership quality there. Something that we've all discussed that we feel we're currently lacking at the moment. Yes, he is young, but whether you're not going to give him the captain's armband straight away if he were to join Chelsea. But does he give us strength in depth, especially when we need numbers in that? Is he that type of player that could potentially help us out, Temba?
Yeah. So when I was looking at his defensive record, it looked pretty solid, and I'm sure he was one of the highest tacklers when he was at Leeds. So in terms of what we're missing from our type of team, I think he suits in perfectly, whether that is if we don't get Caicedo, maybe he does start at the DM position, because I've noticed Pochettino's played Gallagher there, which I don't quite agree with. I don't see how he's a defensive midfielder alongside Enzo. So, yeah, in terms of a defensive cover, I think that's the type of player we do need, whether we do or do not get Caicedo. But yeah, let's see in terms of that. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, Charlie, speaking of Caicedo, I just want to briefly touch upon that. It's been dragging on a little bit, hasn't it? It's been, I can't, you and I have had this discussion since Temba was in America, on his holiday, he swanned off for 3 weeks and left us to, hold the fort. Do you know what I mean? But with this Caicedo situation, at this stage, it's been going on for over a month. This Caicedo, where we linked the first initial bid gone through like close to a month ago now. Do we just cut our losses in it? Like, is this Brighton are really sticking their heels in and saying, you know what, we're not going to budge for anything less than 100 million. The last offer that we sent across to them was 80 million pounds, and they just flat out refused it. Caicedo wants to go. He's discussed it as the Players Award. He wants to leave. He wants to join Chelsea. Do you feel it's time that we kind of move on before being held to ransom? Because it feels like we really are being bent over a barrel here.
We are, but what's the other option? And I'll put that straight back to you.
There's, there is, yes, okay, valid point, but there are other options in terms of oversaturated midfield. Like I think I mentioned on a podcast either last week or the week before, Real Madrid are very overstocked in that area. So there are players that you could potentially go for that aren't getting in the Real Madrid team. So like the Tchouaméni, Camavinga. Camavinga's been played out of position. He's playing as a left back. Is that another way you can go through to that way and potentially get a player for much cheaper?
In my opinion, right, Caicedo wants to come to Chelsea. We want Caicedo. Yeah, simple as that. We all know that. Brighton, what they're doing a bit like they did with Cucurella. They're basically trying to rinse us for as much money as they can. Okay, we've offered 90 million, and they're trying to get to 100 million. Okay. Yep. In my opinion, it's more important for the extra 5 million or 2 million or 1 million or 500 grand or whatever it might be to get him in the squad now while the season is just about to start. We've got 5 matches until the end of the transfer window, let's say. Right? Let's get him in the squad now, get that going. And I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to play this silly this silly game with Brighton. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think, right, if you've got 5 matches, that surely just take the player there. Surely.
Yeah, I've had a look and I see we've got 3 games until the end of the transfer.
Well, 3 games is 9 points, right?
Yeah.
And Man City won the league probably by about 9 points last season. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think it probably was about 9 points. Yeah. So it's important. Every point is important in this league. There's no time to waste. We're playing Liverpool in 6 days. Get on with it. Do you not agree?
Yeah.
I think it's very much a catch-22 situation. Especially when it comes to like financial fair play, it's a massive outlay, and there's still.
I don't care about financial fair play. Why did we sign Sanchez the other day? I'm sorry. I'm going to say this out there. I'm going to say this now, right? We signed that Sanchez out of nowhere, right? Didn't we? Yeah? Didn't we? Did any of you guys last week go, oh, yeah, I think we're in rumour for Sanchez? No, we signed him out of nowhere, right? And we've been banging on about Caicedo. Why can't we just sign him? I don't care how much it costs. If we don't want him, just tell everyone. Just say we don't want him, and we'll go and get someone else, right? And then we can actually get on with the season. We're playing Liverpool on Sunday. Let's just get on with it. Do you guys not agree with me? I mean you've got a squad of players waiting for a defensive midfielder. Where is he going to come from? From the sky? Come on.
I think this. I mean, Temba, keep me honest. I'm fairly certain.
We're going to laugh about it. You can laugh about it all you want, but the transfer deadline is after the start of the season. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. The case in point I was trying to make there was, the Robert Sanchez situation. We've been linked to Robert Sanchez, I think, for months. I don't think we were. It's definitely died. Temba, keep me honest. Is that something that you've heard of previously?
To be honest, we're linked with both. Caicedo, we were linked with in January. We tried to get him in January. We just didn't put an offer in, and Arsenal did. He wanted to join Arsenal. That bid got rejected. He signed a new contract, and here we are again. He wants to leave, and Brighton are holding him ransom. He signed that contract at the end of the day. That whatever gentleman's agreement there was, it's, in football, that really doesn't mean anything. Yeah. We saw it with Courtois when we tried to keep him when he wanted out. And what did he do? He didn't show up to training, and then Marina had to panic sell him, and then we had to buy Kepa in mid-August? It was pretty much almost the same situation as now.
I personally think that the Robert Sanchez signing is fantastic. I genuinely do. I think it's such a good signing because I
told you guys last week about that. I said that we needed a defensive goalkeeper. I've said this all along. Can we actually buy what we actually need for the team, which is a defensive midfielder? We've gone this whole window going, we need a goalkeeper, a midfielder, and a striker. We've got the striker now. We've got the goalkeeper, defensive, like a sort of row, like a second goalkeeper. When are we going to get this midfielder? We've got Liverpool on Sunday. Let's just get on with it.
Can I just play? Can I just probably see
by all
from
means,
the Chelsea point of view? So from what I've seen, they've put in 3 bids or 4 bids so far, and I think it's been a case of Chelsea have their valuation of the player, and Brighton have their valuation of the player. They've probably seen what they've paid for previously for players, and trying to bring that price down, testing Brighton's resolve, basically. And I know it's frustrating as a fan, but if you set that precedent like Man United did 2, 4, or whatever years ago, where they just paid any money for any player, clubs are just going to continuously, try get as much money out of you as possible. And I think it's Chelsea showing a stance of, we want to negotiate smart this summer. As we've seen, we haven't made too many crazy signings or signings for crazy money. And I know it's frustrating because at the end of the day, it's a week before the season starts. It's not ideal. I agree with that. I agree with Charlie on that. But I can see why Chelsea are playing the long game in terms of trying to.
Oh, right. So what we're going to do is we're going to act like idiots in the first window. With the second window, we're going to go mad and we're going to do this. And the third window, everyone's going to think we didn't do what we did in the last 2 windows.
Yeah.
They know what they know what we're doing. Let's just get them on board. We're playing well in America. Everything's going well. Get him on board. Bang, straight in the middle. Play Liverpool, beat them, finish. Let's do it. I don't understand. Everything's on the run at the moment. We're doing so well. Does no one else think this? Am I the only one?
No. You are.
And we just sit there and go, oh yeah, okay. Well, we can just lose to Liverpool and we can do that. And then at the last minute, we'll get Caicedo for 95 million instead of 94 million. Oh, that's brilliant business. Yeah, we've saved ourselves £1 million. Bearing in mind, we haven't even got a sponsor at the moment. Let's get the player on board in Cobham. Get him training with Enzo. That's the whole point, isn't it? We can talk about it all we want, right? We've been talking about this for months. Let's get him on board and get him playing with Enzo as we should do. Does nobody else not see that? Am I an idiot? Maybe I am. I don't know.
No, but I think you got full.
I think you speak from the fan point of view, and I think we all share your frustrations. But if you think about it logically, you also have to see it from the business side of you. And
but
unfortunately,
Tim, what are you going to save? I'm serious now, right? We put 90 million quid in. What was it yesterday, right? And what do Brighton want? 100 million? Right?
We don't know.
What do you mean we don't know? We know they want 100. They've already sold us. They want.
No. That's not my point. I'm saying we don't know what resolve it'll go. It may not go as 100 million buyout. It may go to 90 million plus 10 add-ons. We don't know. At the end of the day, as much
we
as
know what Brighton want. We spent all summer asking them what they want. I mean, you've got to be the worst translator in the world to not know what they want. Surely,
no.
We know what they want. Surely.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how can Chelsea negotiate down that fee. That's up to them. If it falls on their face, it falls on their face. But I can't blame them for actually trying to do that, because that is a business move you do. You don't just give in and pay whatever you want, because like I say, you do set that precedent. I know people talk about what we spent in January, but we amortized that very, very well financially, very, very well. And I know a lot of people don't actually like to mention that. What we did do wrong was the previous summer. The previous summer, the spending 65 million on Cucurella, and I don't know how much Graham Potter's release fee was, like 20 million we paid to Brighton or something like that.
Astronomical, yeah.
Yeah, that was bad business. But what we actually did in January, that was smart business. But now we're trying to rectify everything we did during that last summer with Koulibaly, Sterling wages and everything. You've seen we've brought the wages back down and everything. So as a business, in a business side of sense, I can understand what they're doing. It's just highly frustrating because you do want the player at the end of the day. And I think it will come to a point. It will come to a point where can I just finish? Sorry,
Charlie, let Tim finish.
It will come to a point where I think Chelsea either have to pay that 100 million or not. I think that's the point it will come down to. But at the end of the day, they are trying their best. From what we've seen, they haven't given up on the player. They've gone as high as 90 million. So they're showing that they actually do want the player. And Brighton have every right to keep Caicedo, or, with their stance of 100 million. You saw it with Declan Rice and West Ham and whatnot. And I don't think Arsenal would have signed Declan Rice if Man City hadn't come in with that last-minute bid, because it forced them to then go over the odds of what they wanted to pay. So maybe we need a similar situation. Maybe Sunday, if we do lose against Liverpool, it forces us to think, okay, well, we really need to get him now. We'll put in that 100 million.
So what you're saying? You want to give Jurgen Klopp a call on my mobile and go, "Oh, Jurgen, can you go for the 100 million bid, please, so that we can sign Caicedo?" I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. Everyone knows he's coming, for a certain price. Everybody, everyone knows.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So just sign him. I'm sick and tired of it. For 1 million here, 2 million there, pound here, pound there, whatever, doesn't matter.
It's shavings make a pile, Charlie. So if you can shave off, even if you're talking 5-10 million, it's going to add areas to, you can put to other investment in wages, in, and a deal for other areas of business, areas that we need, such as, midfield, like again, other midfielders that we need to get depth in. It looks like we've kind of shored up that goalkeeper position. And, I echo your sentiments, maybe not as passionately as you do, but, Caicedo's to me, it's going to happen. It's just a question of time. The problem is, Charlie, even if we were to sign Caicedo tomorrow, he won't start against Liverpool. He won't even be in the matchday squad. It's gone too late.
I think he will. I think he will. I really do.
Why would you do that?
I think he would. If we signed him tomorrow, I think
he would be signed
tomorrow.
I don't think he'd start.
Today. I really do. Yeah, I really do. I really think he would.
I don't think he'd start.
I think he would. I don't think he would.
I really don't think he would, because you need to get him tactically up to what Pochettino wants, and it's a very short turnaround.
It is not. It's very easy. His job is literally tackle. I admit that I'm overweight, right? But it's not difficult to do what he does. It's literally, tackle player. Pass the ball easy. Yeah?
I played a game on Sunday and lost 9-1. Let me tell you, it's very difficult sometimes when players are that good. It's not ideal. But Caicedo, yeah, you're right. It's dragging on. It should hopefully come to fruition at some point. But I feel like for the benefit of this podcast, keep this to the hour that we try and keep it. It's probably best that we move on. But hopefully we'll be discussing Chelsea win next week and the signing of Caicedo. But yeah, let's look at other areas. So we touched on it very, very briefly, like Robert Sanchez signing for 25 million. Charlie, you did mention yourself we need a new goalkeeper. I don't think any Chelsea fan across the globe says that we didn't think we need a new goalkeeper. But it's a very astute signing. It's
Pochettino.
I'd say Pochettino. Sorry,
Pochettino didn't think we needed a new goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, tough titties. He's not in charge of the signings, is he? Do you know what I mean? It's down to Paul Winstanley and the other lad that I can't remember their name of. But yeah, we've got Robert Sanchez coming through. It's looking likely that he's going to be the long-term successor to Kepa. He's looking like he's going to provide competition for Kepa, because if you look at Slonina, I don't think Slonina's quite ready just yet. When I was watching the game that we played in America, he didn't quite look as comfortable on the ball, and I think maybe he was a little bit intimidated by his first start in a Chelsea shirt. So maybe it might be beneficial for him to go out on loan this season and get some more first team experience. But Robert Sanchez for 25 million I think is fantastic. I think I don't know how much you read into Transfer Market, that website where they look at valuations, but it's roughly on the money in terms of his valuation. And he's a great proven Premier League goalkeeper, and he's tall. And Temba, you're the one that's been a massive advocate for this. Is somebody that's commanded in the box and doesn't have weak wrists. How do you feel that Robert Sanchez is going to come through? Do you think how long would it take before he usurps Kepa as the number one choice goalkeeper?
3 months tops, I think. I honestly said it, and it feels. I feel kind of bad saying it, but at the same time, I do think it will come to a point where you can't defend Kepa anymore, and it happens every season. To be honest, it happens every season. Do you remember the times we were playing Willy Caballero ahead of him? Yeah, and I mean, even Mendy at times, even when he was awful, we couldn't pick between the two at certain points, And I think if it's a case, well, it's the case that he signed a 7-year contract, so I don't imagine he's the short-term option. I think he's here for the long term. So yeah, I think the idea is for him to maybe learn, understudy to Kepa, and then eventually overtake him. But yeah, I think this season we will see Sanchez play and maybe become number one. Hopefully he keeps it up.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie, I think you wanted a keeper that's going to have a commanding presence at 6'6". It's looking like that Robert Sanchez is potentially going to be that goalkeeper that's going to. Do you think he's going to install a kind of a fear again for Chelsea? We did have the best. Well, I can't say we had the best, but we had one of the better defensive records in the Premier League last season, despite losing all those games. But Kepa was kind of the area that we had that kind of question mark on for many, many seasons. Do you think Robert Sanchez is going to be the person that's going to, take the goalkeeper shirt for the next few seasons?
Who knows? I don't think. Look, I think next season is going to be a funny season for goalkeepers. I think it's going to be very up and down. You're going to have Kepa. Kepa's going to start on Sunday. I have no doubt about that. Yeah. Kepa's starting on Sunday, and Sanchez is on the bench. But I think if Kepa's at fault for one goal, and bearing in mind, I think against Liverpool it will be one goal. I don't think we're going to lose 5-0. Right?
Yeah,
it'll be one goal. I think he'll be shifted in. So let's see how it happens. I think that's the way I think. But it's a great signing. That's a great signing. I think up front we're looking okay, but it's that midfield that is where the weakness is at the moment. And what's good is Liverpool has got the weak midfield as well, so we could be okay.
Well, we'll touch upon that a little bit later on when we do the Liverpool preview. It's something that I do want to go back to. But yeah, Sanchez, looking forward to it. It'd be interesting. Imagine if Pochettino just decided to release a team sheet and big daddy dick move, and he just fucking puts Sanchez straight in goal straight away, despite backing Kepa. Maybe even just publicly backing Kepa just to kind of, keep him sweet, and hopefully he performs and boost that confidence. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what we do come Sunday. Let's move across to the other rumours. Mykhailo Mudryk potentially to Chelsea, former Chelsea youth player. He's been at Cobham before, Cobham boy technically, Charlie. So you know how much you love the Cobham boys. He's got a potential release clause of 35 million according to his Crystal Palace contract. Manchester City is kind of interested in bringing him into the fold as well. And maybe it's me, but I think when we look at the signings that we made last summer, and September, you alluded to this earlier on in the podcast, it was kind of like we need to get names, we need to get name value. And now in the second window, it's like, okay, we need to get youth. We need to get youth players in, and you need to think long-term strategy side. Raheem Sterling doesn't kind of fit at the moment. Could you see potentially, if we do get Mykhailo Mudryk in, that he's going to be the long-term successor to Raheem Sterling, and potentially Raheem Sterling leaving Chelsea in the next couple of seasons?
Yes and no. Yes, because we need a good winger, but no, because they play on opposite sides. I feel like Elise, when I've seen him play, he's mainly been on the right. Sterling's best games have always been on the left for me anyway. But
I believe I believe Elise can play anywhere across the, like, if we're playing the 4-2-3-1, he can play in the 10 position, and he can play, like, if Nkunku is going to play there as a deputy, but he can play left and right as well, so he can fill in. He's not specific.
I agree with that. But in terms of Sterling himself, I think this is a big season for him, especially because, the last season, I think he started off really, really well with linking up with the Aubameyang and under Tuchel, and then during that part of time, I don't know why Potter was playing him at wing back. That was very strange. But that second half of the season, he sort of followed the crowd, who just didn't look like doing anything. And then towards the end of the season, he had a few good performances. I remember him scoring a few times, actually, towards the end of the season. But in pre-season, it's the same thing, the same frustrating things with Sterling. He's got like no, the ball gets stuck under his feet a lot. He's usually not aware that the players are around him. I don't know. And he just doesn't look like he can beat a man. So hopefully he gets a bit of his confidence back and starts playing good football. But I think Pep really transformed his game in terms of not making him think, it's just like 1-2, go, you go, get behind the defense and put the ball in the back of the net. Whereas maybe now he probably has a bit more build-up play to do. He has a bit more touches on the ball where he has to think of what he's doing and sort of be the senior player where he takes a lot of pressure off us, the way Hazard used to, maybe he has to beat 2 or 3 men by himself. And I suppose he's at that stage of his career. He's a senior player now, so he needs to show a bit more of that. He doesn't have that system where it's sort of robotic, where it's 1-2 and, he's through on goal, or he has to make a darting run on the left. He doesn't have to think about what's behind him or who's coming to press him, sort of thing. So it's a big season, I think, for him and where we go in the future. But I did see that he also had an offer from Saudi, so it would be interesting to see if he actually wants to stay here, because I believe he said one of the main reasons he joined was being close to home and all that. And I did quite question that, because a player who's won 5 or 4 Premier Leagues, whatever it is, and FA Cups. I was just thinking, what's your ambition of joining Chelsea? What do you realistically want to achieve here that you couldn't do at Man City? Well, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I wasn't for that signing. The only reason I was for that signing because Tuchel wanted him at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you guys think.
I remember when that signing happened. I think from what I remember, I thought it was a good signing. I genuinely did. Somebody that's going to be a bit of, a proven player in the Premier League, an international player, somebody that's going to provide a bit of guidance. But it's kind of like things didn't kind of get going for him last season. And maybe it's just a product of the environment that he was in at the time, the constant turnover of manager. He's brought in by Tuchel, and all of a sudden he's got another manager in Potter. And he didn't have that confidence, but no player had any confidence last season. Let's face it, it's a bit of a write-off of a season. Charlie, when it comes to, Michael Olise coming into Chelsea, it's looking likely that it could potentially happen with Lewis Hall potentially as a make weight going in the opposite direction on a loan deal to kind of soften the blow a little bit. Does the signing of another player in that kind of attacking midfield area excite you? Do you think it's an area that we need to have depth in?
Not really, because we discussed for the last 3 months that we need a goalkeeper, a defensive midfielder, and a striker. I've said this so many times, and we've sold the goalkeeper. We've got no defensive midfielder in Caicedo is the one that we're after. And then the striker, we've got Nicolas Jackson, who's, okay, brilliant, but we haven't got the, something to do with that. I mean, do you guys not see that? Or is it just me? Am I weird?
Charlie, for the benefit of the podcast, we've got different banners that we discuss throughout the podcast. So when it comes to other areas like strikers and stuff, right now, we're just discussing Michael Olise. So that's why I asked you that question. I know you're we know the areas that we need. We still need another striker. I've got another banner that's going to come up when we talk about Vlahovic.
Okay,
so I'm just talking specifically about this area.
Yeah, he's a brilliant player, but I don't think we need him. Finish.
Do you know what? When that rumor was first released and it was like, we're Chelsea interested in Michael Olise, I didn't think we needed him either. But the more I think about it, the more I think long term and how he fits in the team. And I think if Sterling is very much if we only have Sterling for another 3 years, or if he does stay for the 3 years, then we sell him as he comes towards the end of his contract, having a player like Michael Olise could be beneficial. But again, I agree with you, Charlie. He's not the area that we need to get across the line. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next coming weeks before the end of the transfer window. Another area that we need to discuss, a couple of areas as well, is there's ongoing rumours at the moment that the Dusan Vlahovic could potentially be coming to Chelsea. I didn't think Pochettino wanted another striker, but it turns out he does. We need to get rid of Lukaku as a make weight, but it's looking like the stumbling block on this is Juventus asking for 40 million euros plus Lukaku for Dusan Vlahovic. Tem, is this? I know we need to get rid of Romelu Lukaku. He needs to go. It's massive wages on the books. Is Vlahovic the one that you potentially could see taking the lead as a Chelsea player, as a new marquee number 9?
I don't know. I still stand by the point, though, that we do need another striker. I don't think we should rely on Jackson the whole season. I've never understood this narrative. I don't understand why most Chelsea fans think, Jackson and Nkunku are enough to get us places, because they're very much unproven in this league. And I think you still need that competition. Where is Jackson's competition, especially if Nkunku's injured right now? We don't know how he's going to do.
I think the only area of competition is Broja, essentially, but Broja's kind of an unknown entity at the moment.
Yeah.
We know what he's like at Southampton, but his injury last season kind of hampered things. We don't know how he's going to react to that injuries, and we've seen it previously with players getting these type of injuries and not coming back to their realising their potential, such as like Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, but the thing is Vlahovic the answer? Do you want two young strikers fighting it out, really? So it's kind of a catch-22. There's not enough minutes for both of them, I think, to substantially play. So then do you do a weird thing where you kind of have to fit one out on the left or the right or something? I don't know. You make some convoluted formation to get them in. I would rather us have signed maybe an experienced striker behind Jackson, just to, when maybe we need to.
When you say experience, what do you mean by give me an example of it? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but what do you mean? Do you mean like a striker that's in the early 30s that's kind of winding down, or do you mean somebody that's got more Premier League experience?
Yeah, maybe a striker that's winding down, or maybe even a Tony. To be honest, Tony's a very experienced player, but again, that could be good for January. But I think Jackson's 22, is he 20, 22?
22,
about that age. So he's still. And I'm sure that last season was his first full season as a senior striker. So again, he's still got a lot to learn. And someone like Ivan Toney's been playing down in the football leagues, and he's been in the Premier League for a bit now, so he understands how the league works and how to play against these defenders. So a signing like that would be very, very much welcome, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree, Charlie.
I'll throw it across to Charlie in that scenario. I think. Do you think? Do we get Vlahovic or do we wait for Tony?
I think we need to stock up as much as we can. I like this Jackson kid, right? He looks good, right? He's not even played a game in the Premier League yet. We're all getting a bit ahead of our stations, aren't we? At the moment. So let's see how he plays on Sunday, and let's reevaluate. We've got plenty of time to the end of the window. If he scores a hat-trick on Sunday, brilliant. Yeah, okay, we've got a man. We still need somebody behind that, though, because we're playing one up front and two on the wing. Yeah, so you still need somebody in behind. And Broja's not the man. Unfortunately, he's injured half the time. So there's. Well, I'm sorry. Is he fit for Sunday?
Yes, he can play Sunday. He's available for the first team.
Is he going to play?
Probably not, no, because he's probably going to play Jackson.
So he's not fit. So he's not fit, is he? So is he going to be on the bench?
Potentially, yeah.
I don't. Well, potentially means no. So let's be honest about it. Well, go on. You tell me. Do you think he's going to be on the bench?
Yes, I think he will be.
You really do?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
If you've got Noni Madueke that will be able to play in that position, in the number 9 position, and you start with Nicolas Jackson as number 9, you have no other number 9s that can fill that position. So yeah, Broja will be on the bench. Whether he plays is another story.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be on the bench.
I don't think he'll be on the bench. I really.
Should we have a £5 bet?
All right, look, for all the subscribers here, right, for all the guys watching here, Charlie says £10. Here we go now against Tom. And all right, calm down. All right, all right, £22, whatever it is, right? But the point is I don't think he'll be on. I think we still need backup there. That's the point that I'm trying to make. I think Jackson looks brilliant. He hasn't played in the Premier League yet. Let's see what happens on Sunday. He's definitely going to start. I'm very confident of that. If he starts, if he does well, if he scores a goal, brilliant, excellent. But I still think we need a backup because look, he didn't play last year even for Villarreal. He didn't play every single game, did he?
No.
He was still injured. He was injured here and there. He wasn't fit here and there. You can't, nowadays, right? If you're relying on one player, they can't play every game. So we've got to have some backup. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, given in light of the injury to Nkunku, I think having a backup now, I think we don't know how long this Nkunku thing. Look at Kante last season. 4 weeks out he was supposed to be, and he was out for 6. So I think it might be beneficial at this stage to bring in a striker. And if it's Vlahovic, he's proven in Serie A. It'd be interesting to see him in, and he's previously linked to Arsenal as well as Manchester United previously. So it's not like he's a complete unknown entity. Clubs are aware of him. But speaking of kind of marquee names, I think Tem, you mentioned to the podcast starting in terms of a marquee signing. Do we need a marquee signing? Because I don't know if you saw the rumours you put it through to me, is that potentially Chelsea might be interested in Neymar. Now, we had a discussion last week about Mbappe potentially coming in on a loan deal, but is Neymar even needed? Is a marquee name needed at this stage in Chelsea's
I think
identity?
Financially, I think the club are looking at it that side, but personally, no. I think you've got a good, hard-working team at the moment who seem to, from what we've seen anyway on social media, it seems a lot more players are happier as a squad unit than last season. I don't want a big name signing with another astronomical wages that we can't clear off in 2 or 3 years or whatnot. And I think Neymar is precisely that. He's notoriously not worked hard. However, would I like to see him in the Premier League? Of course. And if I wanted to see him in the Premier League, there's no other team I'd want to see him for than play for Chelsea, really. But do I think he's what we need right now? No. No. So I hope that kind of answers your question.
I mean, if people that are watching us now, do you think that feel free to put it in the comments? I think we did this with Mbappe last week, but do you think Neymar's the right thing? Just put it in the comments. We'll bring it up. We'll discuss it as and when it comes in. But Charlie, I without going back to where we need players, we've agreed that. But Neymar is bringing in Neymar even worth our time at the moment at this stage? Because it just definitely feels. It doesn't feel like a fit. It really doesn't feel like a fit right now. We're not the right club for him. He's not the right club for us. And in January, when there's loads of games to be played, he's probably in Brazil celebrating his sister's birthday, which happens every single season.
This is not FIFA. A team wins a match. I've said this over and over again. We need a central midfielder. We keep going around in circles, and Caicedo is the man. And that's it. So let's go and get him, and then let's get on with our season. I've said it so many times. That's my take.
Well, I think we best do now is we've got roughly about 17 minutes to go through. Thank you very much for the people joining us now. We're going to look at we're going to look forward to Sunday, the start of the season. Chelsea kick things off against our old rivals, the team that I hate the most in the Premier League, in Liverpool. So we're going to bring in one of our friends, Kaz. Kaz, hello. Say hello.
Hi. Okay.
Kaz is somebody we play football with on Fridays, kick rounds, and Kaz, you are a Liverpool fan, so
yeah.
For your sins, I'm very, very interested.
Yeah.
I can only speak for myself in this scenario. I think Charlie and Temba might be able to say this, but how do Liverpool fans see Chelsea? Do you see us as kind of like as a rival, or is it something where it's more us the other way around?
I'd say rival, yeah. Mainly a rival, not a derby, more of a rival. Because obviously you guys have different locations to us and not very close. So it's definitely a rival game. Very intense game, I'd say, to be honest, because every time we play, it's normally like just each other hacking at each other in the game. And the last few seasons, it's just been like draws, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So it's been like, ups and downs sometimes, because it's like obviously a new season and you're playing the first game of the season against each other. It's going to be a bit like rusty, isn't it? Everyone's just going to be like getting used to the season again. So yeah.
Yeah.
How about yourself? So.
I mean, I can't stand them, to be honest. I can't stand you guys. I hate you more than Spurs. I hate you more than Arsenal. I hate you more than Man United. I can't stand you. But that's purely just on the basis of Luis Garcia and that phantom goal, because Istanbul would not have happened if VR was around, let me tell you. So the one thing that Charlie alluded to previously is, we both have a lack of midfield. Is an area like, obviously, Henderson has gone across to Saudi Arabia. Fabinho's gone across to Saudi Arabia. Timber's light's just gone off there. But how do you feel? How are you kind of feeling about the game from a Liverpool perspective coming in on Sunday? When you look at the signings that Chelsea have made and the kind of improvements they've made compared to last season, how do you feel as a Liverpool fan going into the game on Sunday?
To be honest, because our midfield's so young, and the fact that they're very new to each other, I reckon it will be a bit of time to gel with each other. If you know what I mean? There's that lack of experience as well that they lack in that midfield due to the fact that they've lost a big player that was Liverpool's legend now, obviously Henderson, and there's not that talk that will lack a bit in the midfield, and because they're young as well, they're going to have naive moments as well. So definitely, I'd say that it's going to take a time for them to adjust. So I feel like we're going into a game that it's just obviously it's very similar to Chelsea, because Chelsea, they're quite new to each other in the midfield. So obviously you guys don't have Havertz anymore, and you've got all your new players come in, and obviously it's going to be very similar. I feel like it's sort of a similar battle in the midfield to me, if I be honest with you. Yeah,
Gaz, I'll ask you a question. Do you think that for Liverpool, it's as a Chelsea fan, we feel as Chelsea fans, this is a real crunch match on Sunday. This is a match that's going to start to dictate the season for us as a club. We're going in with a new manager, few new signings, but a bit of a turnaround. We feel like we're turning the corner, if you like. Do Liverpool feel like that? I mean, you didn't have a particularly good season last season, didn't quite qualify for the Champions League. Does it feel like a bit of a crunch match for you as well? And do you think? I mean, certainly this weekend in the Premier League, it's the highlight, isn't it? It's got to be. Do you feel that as well as Liverpool fans?
Yeah, to be honest, because the way we started our season last year, it was very shaky. So we're going into it almost like that, because obviously Chelsea are a tough side. So it's just like one of them games that is tough, and it's just going to be very nerve-wracking for us, because we're going to Stamford Bridge. Obviously, you guys have the advantage at home. So it's going to be nerving for us guys, mainly, especially some of the players that are new into it. So I reckon it's going to be one of them crunchy matches. Yeah. So definitely, I can see. I've got a feeling. I have a good feeling about the game. I've got one of them feelings that we may lose, kind of thing. So I don't know. So
I have that feeling too.
It's just because sorry to interrupt, but I feel because it's one of them first game of the season, and then you've got it's just a big match. You just don't know what you can expect. It's just one of them, isn't it?
What's the feeling amongst the Liverpool fans? Because as Chelsea fans, we don't know what to expect this season, do we, guys? We're sort of we're going in. We're like top 6, top 5, top this. Liverpool. I think Liverpool underperformed a little bit last season. I don't. Not qualifying for the Champions League. I think that was quite a big thing. What do you think is Liverpool's ambition this season? And on Sunday, I mean, I think for us a draw. I think not to lose is a great result. That's my opinion. Not to lose. Are Liverpool going there nicking the win, or what do you reckon?
To be honest, it's one of them games that is unexpected. You don't know what you're going to expect in the game. So Liverpool might sneak a result with fluke or something, just scoring a goal and then defending it or something. Or we never know, Chelsea might go in the game blitzing it, absolutely hammering us. That could be the case. Or it just could be one of them games again where it's a draw, like how it has been the last few seasons. To be honest, obviously Liverpool's goal this season is to come top 4, obviously, for Champions League, because obviously they didn't get it last season. And they'll probably want to go for the league as well, and maybe the Europa League as well. Maybe every cup, as they're supposed to anyway. But yeah, we'll have to see, to be honest, because it's Jurgen Klopp's obviously got basically a new midfield, so he has to work with it and see what he can do. Because to be honest, as I've watched pre-season with them, I feel as they've been okay, but there's still like bumps. So obviously, we'll have to see. To be honest, only the game can tell. To be honest,
I just hope we don't meet you in a final at some point, because I'm absolutely sick of losing to Liverpool in finals. Tem, sorry, I thought you were going to say something.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just letting you guys finish. I kind of want to throw this question to all of you guys. Well, this is just my personal opinion from watching Liverpool Chelsea. I think a lot of games are not actually won in midfield with Chelsea Liverpool. I think a lot of midfield possession is actually bypassed, and it's a strong area for Liverpool. I'm very, very scared about on Sunday is the wide play. I think their wide play is a lot better than ours, and that's where really we can lose or win that game. I want to see who we line up against Trent, because I think if our winger isn't good enough to take him on, he's going to have a field day down that right-hand side, and he's got Salah with him, and, maybe Gakpo is going to be up front, or Nunez. And I want to see how, maybe who's going to be down that side, Chilwell, Cucurella, and Thiago, Levi Cole. So, it's gonna, I'm not sure Chilwell's very good defensively. Cucurella's looked hopeless defensively. So I just wanted to throw it out to you guys. Like, who are your danger players for Chelsea, and who are your danger players for Liverpool? Who do you think people to watch out for?
Let's go with Kaz on that one. So Kaz, in an ideal world, who would you want down the left side for Trent to kind of attack, and who wouldn't you want down the left side? I think that'd be interesting to know, because we're biased. We just are.
To be honest, when they played last season, I think it was at Anfield. I think it was Mudryk that was playing on his side. Yeah. As far as I remember, he was a threat. So ideally, he might, if he plays, it will be a threat to Arnold with the pace. Ideally, because he won't be able to keep up. To be honest, you'd want someone. Sterling's obviously injured, isn't he? So he won't be playing that side.
He's fit.
He's fit. Okay, he's fit. Okay, so probably ideally him. I think is handleable, but I think Mudryk is the one that's the danger, to be honest. And another thing, there's points where Arnold actually plays in midfield, so that could cause it to have an issue as well, because they'll probably play high, and then you guys can probably counter on that as well. And then ideally, if I wanted Chelsea, obviously against you guys, it'd probably be most likely Darwin Núñez or Salah on the right, to be honest. Salah's obviously one of our first starters, so ideally him. So that's probably that's the trouble I think we would have, is Mudryk obviously on that side against us.
You make an interesting point, but I have a feeling that Jurgen Klopp and Charlie and Tem, you can go. I think Klopp might play Trent in midfield for this game, and then have somebody else. I have a feeling he might do that, because I think exactly what Kaz says. I think Mudryk last season, I know it was against James Milner.
But you forget James Milner got substituted for Trent after Mudryk, because Mudryk skinned Milner. Do you remember that? He skinned Milner, and Milner got booked because he took him down, and then he chucked Alexander-Arnold on to deal with Mudryk. That was what happened. Yeah. And we were very close. That game, we were very close to winning that one. I really believe. And do you know what's funny, right? I always say this. Havertz was the one actually at Anfield and against Liverpool, and Werner's another one who used to actually cause them a lot of problems. I don't know why, but Havertz used to cause them a hell of a lot of problems. I mean, he scored. Was it a disallowed goal last season at Anfield? He scored. I'm sure he scored. He scored at Anfield. I'm pretty sure when Reece James got sent off when you were there. He caused them a hell of a lot of problems. Werner caused them a lot of problems. So it'll be interesting, won't it? I think Mudryk should start. I think because he caused them a hell of a lot of problems last year. Reece James always caused them problems. Reece James always, Chilwell, basically anything with pace, anything with. But I think I think people forget we're not playing as we were 2-3 years ago. We are playing a little bit differently now. We're a bit of a different team. And Tem, can you allude to that? How are we playing now compared?
So it's kind of let's say we like to defend either like to do a high press or a mid block, depending on the situation on the game. And I think in this game against Liverpool, it will mainly be a mid block, because I doubt that we will press them very high unless they decide to push their lineup. That's the point I think Pochettino will trigger us to sort of win the ball early and try counter-attack them. And it's a big feature of Liverpool. Their centre-backs are on the halfway line and they like to keep the opposition, pressed in very much in the other side. So it depends if we can actually execute that press very well. Depends on who's playing. So yeah, in terms of us sitting as a mid block, we normally sit in a 4-2-3-1 formation. But sometimes when we're playing out, what I've seen is we change into actually a 3-4-3. So one of our DMs actually comes to as a centre back, on our two wing backs push high and wide. So that's the point of where we have to be careful of how do we attack if we lose the ball in those situations. I know Salah, Nunez, and whoever's playing on the left, maybe Gakpo or whoever, they're quick. Liverpool don't waste time in terms of attacking. They don't like to play through the midfield how we used to. We passed a simple ball to Kovacic, to Jorginho, and whoever. They like to switch the ball quick and overload you on the sides. And it's a theme I was actually very scared of, because when I saw us against Dortmund and Brighton, they did this so very well, and it's one of Liverpool's special sort of things they do, is they know how to switch the ball to the side really quickly and then overload you on the far side and score a goal. So I think that's our main sort of turning point on how we're going to defend. But in terms of us going forward, again, we do like to play the ball quite quick. We don't like to keep the ball in possession. It's usually quick combinations of play, quick 1-2s, and again, like you say, if we have someone like Mudryk, I think it's crucial that we do switch that ball very, very quickly, or play that through ball, just bypass that midfield. You've seen it with Chilwell doing it. Thiago Silva did it a few times in pre-season. Reece James is capable of doing it. So we've got to take that to advantage. As soon as we win that ball, play that early ball, because that's when we have been the most effective. Or even Chukwuemeka in the half spaces, he's been quite good. He's had good combinations with Jackson and Nkunku. Unfortunately, Nkunku's out. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Kaz, how, just as a Liverpool fan, how are you pleased that Nkunku's injured in the nicest way possible?
To be honest, it's a big blow for you guys, because he'd be a threat to, obviously, our centre-backs, especially Kanai, as he can be a bit awkward sometimes when it comes to defending.
Yeah.
But, yeah, to be honest, and also that it gives it the, obviously, freedom of them not having that much of a threat, because I'm not too sure who your striker will be instead. Who will it be?
It'll be Nicolas Jackson.
Nicholas.
Yeah.
Is he? He's quite young, yeah. As far as
he's young, he's tall, he's got quite good hold-up play and good link-up play, which is something we've kind of missed. Really, like Lukaku was strong, but his link-up play was terrible.
So he'll be So he'll be battling against like Konate and the likes of Van Dijk. So
that's
he's not going to win the air against those guys, but in terms of pace, this is the thing. Liverpool's back line, in my opinion, now it's getting slack when you think about it in terms of like pace. Robertson, he's getting on, isn't he? Like in terms of like banging down the wing and stuff like that. I don't know. I just think we like the way that we've been sort of scoring the goals. If you watch some of our goals in pre-season, we can seem to turn defense into attack really quickly, and also like the way that we can. The pace on Mudryk and Jackson looks like a really, really good kid, doesn't he? Let's face it. I mean, I'm excited about him on Sunday. I really think it's a big moment for him, and if he can nick a goal here and there, Jesus. I mean, let's hope.
It's going to be a fascinating game. Let's face it. Winding down here. So two clubs with a lack of a solid midfield from what I can see, but Liverpool completely very, very strong in attacking fields way, and also like Charlie mentioned, it's kind of an aging defence. Let's go around, go through, and we'll go through to have discussions in terms of what we think the score is going to be. So what we'll do is, as Kaz, you're the guest this week, so obviously you need to put the score. What you can do is we tend to have like a head and a heart thing. Okay, so what's your head telling you and what's your heart telling you what you think is going to be come Sunday?
So my heart's telling me it's 2-1 Liverpool, not to be biased. Yeah. And then my head's telling me it's a draw 1-1. To be honest.
Break the trend of being a score draw. Charlie, what do you think is going to happen on Sunday?
I don't even know the difference, but I think if we don't lose, that'll be brilliant. I think 2-1 Chelsea. Let's have it. Come on, Chelsea. Come on.
Honestly, I don't know what you.
I don't know what I've been smoking today, but I'm in a good mood.
All it took was a new season to happen. So Tem, what do you reckon for the what's your head? Okay, this is where you go serious. So what's your head telling you? What's your heart telling you? What do you reckon?
The head's telling me 3-1 Liverpool.
What?
No, that's just me. Everyone call me negative, but if I'm right, people will never.
I'm calling you negative now this season, son.
No, I'm being serious. I still think I still don't see where the goals are coming from in this team. I don't, honestly, and I think Liverpool are just too much of a strong test for us this soon. I think we really needed to get that midfield situation sorted out, and from what I've seen, us defending from wide positions, we've been absolutely shocking. We get overran on both flanks, and it's part of a sort of what can I say, like an imbalance of the 4-2-3-1 we play. We often get stretched out too quickly, and Liverpool are very good at making that pitch wide. So yeah, let's see how they execute that plan. But my head's telling me 3-1 Liverpool. I think Salah will be too much for whoever's playing on the left, and I think Chilwell, from what I've seen pre-season, he looks very good on the ball, but very rash defending. And I think it's something he needs to shore up as well. My heart is telling me 1-1 Chelsea, but yeah, I'll still stick by that 3-1 Liverpool.
We can see a theory going with 2-1 Liverpool just about. I think Chelsea lacking a striker will be the issue. I think for me personally, what I'm going to do is I'll say head and heart. I reckon it's going to be. I think it's going to break the trend of the 0-0s. I think it's going to be a score draw, and I think it's either going to be 2-2 or 3-3. I genuinely believe it could be one of those games, opening games of the season. I think maybe not too cagey, just going at it. I think it could be 3-3. That's going to be my head. I think it'll be a score draw, 2-2 or 3-3, and I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea. I'm feeling positive. 2-1 Chelsea. I'm going to say it. Anyway, well, we're approached over the hour time. So, Kaz, thank you very much for joining. Hopefully, we will have you debrief maybe next Monday. You can have a discussion about how you feel Liverpool performed against Chelsea when they lost 2-1 to us. We shall see. But thank you very much for joining me, Charlie, Tem. Thank you very much, everybody that joined us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers before the end of the transfer window. So if you can do that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But we will be back every single Monday live on TKS TV and live on YouTube at 9:30 p.m. Thank you very much to everybody. Speak soon. Take care.
Come on, Chelsea. Come on.